Tune into the Green and Growing program on Eagle Community Television with Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Agent. Holly will identify common lawn and garden issues and provide up-to-date information weekdays at noon and 9 p.m. on Channel 14. Green and Growing. Brought to you by Eagle Community Television and Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40 next to the Bickles-Schmidt Sports Complex.
Cool season grasses such as tall fescue and Kentucky bluegrass do not like the heat of summer, especially in western Kansas, and they tend to struggle during those times. But as we move into those cooler months of September and October, these grasses start to perk up and grow again. A lot of times with fescue, it'll be by tillering, which is creating those little side shoots off the side of that bunch grass. And with Kentucky bluegrass, it spreads by runners over the surface or under the ground. And so this is the time of year that you need to fertilize. If you can only choose one time of year to fertilize your tall fescue or Kentucky bluegrass lawns, September is the ideal month to do that. Just for those reasons I stated, coming out of that summer doldrum, starting to grow again, and having really active root growth at this time. Now, there are different fertilizers on the market, but this is the time of year when you want to choose one that is more fast-acting or quick-release fertilizer. With fescue or Kentucky bluegrass lawns, the nutrient of most need is nitrogen. So a lot of our lawn fertilizers on the market do have more nitrogen in them, and phosphorus and potassium are rarely needed, especially if you've been fertilizing in the past. The only time I'd recommend the use of phosphorus and potassium would be if a soil test indicated so. But a lot of our lawn fertilizers have that higher nitrogen amount and then lower phosphorus and potassium amounts. Now, another thing to consider is if your lawn's been looking a little yellow, or your soil pH is extremely high, which we have typically in our area here, is a lawn fertilizer that might contain a little sulfur and maybe some iron in with it. That sulfur will help to bring down the pH slightly and make that iron that's in that fertilizer available to the plant, which can help green it up. September, like I mentioned, is the ideal month to go ahead and fertilize. The next most important time to fertilize is November. So we're coming into that time frame where you're getting that lawn ready for next summer, actually, because November is the fertilization or the fertilizer application that will help that lawn green up quicker in the spring. It will help give it nice carbohydrates in that root system to help support it through the winter, and you won't have to worry about giving it an early spring fertilization in March or April, and you can go ahead and wait till May if you choose to do so. When you fertilize your cool season lawns, or with any lawn generally, we talk about applying 1 pound of actual nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. So you have to calculate how big your area is and how much nitrogen is actually in your bag of fertilizer, and then apply it according to the bag a lot of times, or you can do those calculations and set your spreader yourself and go ahead and fertilize to get that amount of fertilizer on. When you apply the fertilizer, you want to make sure that you soak the lawn deeply afterwards to avoid burning the lawn, and make sure you get that fertilizer down into that root system where it is needed. If you have questions about fertilizing cool season grasses, contact your local extension office for a pamphlet entitled Fertilizing Lawns in Kansas. Reporting for K-State Research and Extension, Eagle TV, I'm Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Extension Agent.
Tune into the Green and Growing program on Eagle Community Television with Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Agent. Holly will identify common lawn and garden issues and provide up-to-date information weekdays at noon and 9 p.m. on Channel 14. Green and Growing. Brought to you by Eagle Community Television and Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40 next to the Bickles-Schmidt Sports Complex.